Happy, beautiful day. It's Pete Cohen here, and welcome to the Pete Cohen podcast, The Inspiration Revolution. This is episode 3 in a 4-part series of you creating the movie of your life. And I'm super excited because we've got some special guests today. Yes, in the studio, we've got Keira Knightley, we've got Tom Hanks, we've got Anne Hathaway, we've got Ben Stiller, and we've got Jane Judi Dench. Is it Jane Judi Dench or Judi Dench? Who knows? We've got all of those guys in the studio today. Today's episode is all about becoming the director in the movie of your life. Join me after the theme tune. The big question is, how are some people in the world today creating the results they want with their health, wealth, and happiness? What exactly are these people doing? This podcast will give you the answers and inspire you to live the life that you want today. Happy beautiful day, guys. Yes, you did hear me right. We do have some amazing guests in the studio today. Keira Knightley, Tom Hanks, Anne Hathaway, Ben Stiller, Judi Dench, and me, Pete Cohen. And thank you so much. We've had some brilliant feedback. You know, one of the things we've been asking people to do with these podcasts is to let us know what it is that they are working on. We do have an incredible opportunity right now in life today to create a life of meaning, a life of achievement. And I've set my life's mission to be a director, if you like, in people's life. Because when you're a coach, it's like one of the things I talk a lot about is about leaders. Leaders today need to be coaches. A good leader in any organization needs to have the ability to ask really good questions that could help someone take the lead in what they're doing. And it's exactly the same when you're a coach. You're really a director. The role of a coach is to take someone from where they are to where they want to be. And actually the role of a director, if you look at what the word means, it's to really keep someone in a straight line. And as we know in life, we might have an idea to go somewhere, but invariably what happens is we get pulled off course. You know, things happen, impulses. We know that we live in an era and a time where there's so many opportunities and possibilities and we can learn so much. But I think the price we're having to pay for that is distraction. There's never been a time where it's been so easy for people just to think, I'm going to look at this. And then before you know it, they're looking at something else. And then their intention, the inspiration that they had to do something has just gone out the window because they found themselves going down a different road. And that's one of the reasons why working with a coach can be extremely helpful. And today's episode is brought to you by Pete Cohen Coaching. If you want to see exactly what coaching can do for you, then literally just head to petecohen.com/coaching and let me share with you a short video where I share with you how to discover and create the life that you want. We know that a great life, it doesn't happen by chance. It happens by design. And this is the third episode in these 4. In the last episode, we looked at you being the actor, looking at the actor that you want to play. It was Shakespeare that apparently said something to the words, something around, the world is but a stage and we are all but actors upon this stage. You really do have a choice. But most of us don't exercise the choice that we have to create the life that we want because we keep running programs. We keep running old ways of thinking. And if you were bold enough, and this is one of the things that we looked at in the first 2 podcasts, and you were decided to look at your life and think, well, why am I not really where I want to be? And in most cases, it's just simply because you're running a movie. You've got a dialogue, you're telling yourself a story. And you're playing the victim. Now, you're not alone because I think the world is full of people right now that are very unfulfilled, who deep down just know they're not being who they're capable of being. One of the greatest psychologists who ever lived, a guy called Abraham Maslow, spoke a lot about the need for people to self-actualize. He said what man can be, he must be. And I think deep down we know we're just kind of coasting. We know deep down when we're just kind of going through the motions. And this is so important that if it's coming across in a way that sounds quite depressing, well, maybe it's to just press upon you the need to change, the opportunity to change. And that's what I want to share with you today. I want us to see ourselves as directors. So what is directing you right now to listen to this podcast? It could be so easy for you to, within a matter of moments, to find yourself listening or doing something else and your attention has gone away. But there's probably a part of you that's going, you know what, I want to listen to this right to the end. I'm going to take some notes. I want to improve my life. And I think we all have that drive inside us. I think some of us are frightened to take the lead, to take the control of our life. That's one of my big goals in life, is to inspire people all around the world to become a leader in their life. And right now you are in my movie. And I really want to thank you for being in my movie, because I can't make my movie happen all on my own. Otherwise, it would just be a fantasy inside my head. But my movie is real. My movie is making a difference in this world. It's an epic adventure. It's an epic quest where I am the hero in this movie that I'm in. But I'm looking to create more heroes. Heroes in the original sense of the word, because hero comes from the Greek word heros. A hero is a protector, protecting people. I want more people just like you who will rise up and say, this is me, this is the person I'm becoming. These are the areas of my life that are important. And what we find for most people, the three main areas are your health and energy, your relationships and your work, service and wealth. Those three key areas. Most of us are not where we want to be. I mentioned this in the last podcast. I said, I'm never where I want to be. It's not that I'm not happy where I am. It's just that there's always something to work towards. There's always something that gets me up every single day. It's what the Japanese call the ikigai. Go and Google this word. I did a podcast on it a long time ago. I will do another one. Having just come back from Japan, it was the question I asked most Japanese people who could speak English. What is your ikigai? Your ikigai really is your reason for getting up every single day. And there's an island called Okinawa in Japan where a lot of people live beyond 100. And one of the theories around that is they've got so many people that have an ikigai, that they get up every single day, and maybe it's to see their grandchild have a daughter, or maybe it's the fact that they get up every day to do their exercise. There's something that is compelling, or to get into the garden. There's something that gets them up every single day, that gets their juices going. And that's what I want to help you do today, because if you try and do all of this stuff all on your own, it is pretty difficult. If you went to see a film and it was just one actor in the film, it would probably be okay, but behind the actor is a whole supporting cast of producers, a director, of other actors, of loads of other people that are working in this movie. You are a part of my movie, and I really appreciate that. And you know what? I want to be in yours. That's why I want to hear from you. We want to hear from you because we want to be a part of your life. We want to help you. There's no greater achievement than helping someone go from where they are to where they want to be. And when we look at knowledge and information, which there's so much out there, we live in this information age where you don't have to do very much. You can ask Siri. There's so many things that you can do. You could ask him what the weather is. You could ask him how to get somewhere. Even my car now has got Hey Mercedes. But the thing is, when I ask Hey Mercedes, it's rubbish. It doesn't really work as well as I would like him to work. I'm sure in the future it will get better. And this is where we need to start really paying some attention to who we are and who we are becoming. I mentioned this in the last podcast about what is the movie that you are looking to produce, what is the movie that you're looking to act in, and who is the director. Now, you can let me be part of the director, or be your director if you like. And this is what we do when we coach people and they come on our coaching programs. This is why you should go and check out for yourself what would it be like to be coached by someone for an extended period of time, especially if it was something you could afford and something you could fit into your life? Because just like an actor, most actors have to go to acting school. Quentin Tarantino, who is an incredible director, his films are pretty crazy. I personally really like them. But what he's so good at doing is understanding how actors think, because for 6 years he went to acting school and he acted. And he knows that when he's got actors, he knows how to get the best out of them. And this is why Reservoir Dogs, which was such a great film, it's not everyone's cup of tea, because he was able to really tap into the hearts and mind of the actors. And this is what I'm really good at doing, is helping you tap into who you are and where you're going and your absolute capabilities and your potential, which is actually unknowable. Now, it's actually 3:16 in the morning right now, and you can probably tell that I'm full of beans. Why? Well, I told you my story that last week I was in Japan climbing Mount Fuji, and it was amazing. But since I've come back, I've had a few challenges. My back has been extremely stiff. I had to go and see the osteopath today. My sleep has been all over the place, and that's been really challenging, because if I lack sleep and if I'm in pain, you don't often get to see the best Pete Cohen. But in the movie that I'm playing in my life, this is what is going on, and I am committed to work through this in a way that doesn't defeat me, that doesn't stop me from doing the things that are really, really important. And this is why having the movie of your life, which you've been living anyway, it's all a movie. And when you get with people and you sit down and you talk to them, what you talk about is what you've done. You talk about the story, what we did then, and that was great. But what about if we started to talk more about where we are going? Now, I mentioned to you that in the studio we had a few guests. We have Keira Knightley, we've got Tom Hanks, Anne Hathaway, Ben Stiller, and who else do we also have? We have Jane Judi Dench. So what would be great is you just listen right now to what they have to say.
I'm really interested in challenges. I want to play characters that I don't know if I can do. I need to feel that kind of walking on a tightrope. I find that really exciting, and I think that it's the only way that I can keep interested, and therefore I hope an audience can keep interested in the films that I do.
Everything you do as an actor ends up taking you somewhere else. I think all of the emotions that you have to go through, whether it's like loving a girl or laughing outrageously at something hilarious, or everything I've ever done in a film, it requires this getting to some sort of emotional reality that is contrary to the actual setting that you're in. I feel very lucky that I get to play characters that are so complex I can't help but love them because they feel real to me. But that's most of the roles that I've gotten to play, and you love them because of their flaws, not in spite of them. You have to just sort of feel it out, and take the chances. And if you feel like on some level it's grounded in some sort of reality, that's really the most important thing. I know that sounds like it might be an oxymoron of doing this crazy broad character that's grounded in reality, but it is important to understand where the character's coming from, what his motivations are, whether it's jealousy or, insecurity or whatever it is. And then you just sort of go with that and try to play these crazy big moments in some sort of real way. My job is trying to play a character that will convince people that I'm that person. If you get a wonderful script like we did on this, that's not quite so hard to do, because it's a ready-made story for you, and all you've got to do is to make people believe that you're that person in that circumstance, like any part you play.
So isn't that fascinating? Let's start off with Keira Knightley. When she talks about not knowing whether she can do it, she needs to do something that is challenging to her. If you went to go and see a film and it was just all lovely and beautiful, and you wouldn't watch it. You might, but you want some form of adrenaline. You want some sort of... identifying with the characters, them going on this journey. In fact, before I started recording this, my wife and I, we both couldn't sleep last night, so we started just watching something and on BBC iPlayer. It was called Criminal Justice. And it just got to a point where you could tell something really bad was going to happen. We just turned it off because we don't want to watch something like that. I don't want to process something like that. I want to process something that is more fulfilling to me, that isn't just about something terrible. That's the movie I want to be in. I don't want to watch things that I'm going to have to process. That's not my life. What about your life? Kind of contradicting myself when I'm talking about actors, but we can choose the films that we go and watch, and you can choose the film that you're in your life, and you can direct it. You are in charge of your life. This philosophy, this framework is about putting the ball in your court. And maybe you don't want the ball in your court. Maybe you want someone to make your life better for you, but it isn't going to happen like that, because a great life doesn't happen by chance. It happens by design. And as much as many of the great films that many of these great actors have been in, none of them are more important than your life. Because those films, in many cases, they're not real life. But the actors who play them make them real life. I loved what Tom Hanks said. You know, you're taking someone else on, and you have to convince yourself that that is the person. You have to be emotionally connected with that person, and that's what I want to come to in a moment. Anne Hathaway, when she talks about, you know, you love the characters that you're playing, you love their flaws. They're not about being perfect. You love the person that you are. You know, Ben Stiller talking about, you know, feeling it out, being grounded in some form of reality. And who else? When we hear Judi Dench talking about convincing people that you are that person. And this is what we need to do. So we could go into great detail about all of this. And I know I'm throwing a lot of information, but hopefully I'm inspiring you to think, you know what? Yeah, I am in a movie, and I am running some old scripts, and who do I want to become? Now, one of the things I talk about is being a hero in the beginning. See, many actors who play roles, they can't just be a hero in the beginning for the first few days, because the films often require such an intensity and on a journey that has already been mapped out, and they've read the script. Very few actors would do any film and not have any idea of where the script was actually going. That's not to say, and one of the people I work with said to me the other day, said, you know, I'm doing this, but how rigid should the script be? I said, well, that's up to you. You know, Woody Allen and a few other directors I know, there's a lot more kind of improvisation. This doesn't have to be written out and you have to follow the movie of where you're going to the letter. It's really up to you to decide the direction that you want to take this, and then check in with the part that you're playing every single day. And you follow this, and you follow the path that you're choosing to go on. I remember American Werewolf in London, which was an incredible film. The special effects were remarkable, but there's this line in the film where it says I think they're in Scotland or the Yorkshire Moors, and they leave the pub, and the guy says, you know, make sure you stick to the path. And after a bit, they realize we're not on the path, and that's where the danger unfolds. For us, if we go off the path too much, we can just go down a rabbit hole and move so far away from the person that we're becoming. And that's why every single day you're in training. Every single day you need to check in with your actor. You, the director, is looking out for the actor. That's what a coach does. A coach is making you aware of what you're doing, and awareness is the key. Awareness is the key, rather than following someone else's path or just going through the motions of life. It's holding yourself accountable for who you are and where you're going. So the hero in the beginning is a word that has been around for thousands of years. It comes from ancient Indian Sanskrit. They recognized thousands of years ago that people could be a hero for a few days in deciding to do something, and that enthusiasm goes out the window. They also have a word called dharma, which I would encourage you to go and look into what dharma is. They describe it as dharma is something with you. It supports you. It's the essence of who you are. And they talk about this universal dharma of how the universe, how the world operates, how everything works in a perfect synergy. how obviously man can mess that up. But they talk about following your dharma, like following your movie, as opposed to the danger. I can't believe this, that they spoke about this thousands of years ago, the danger of following someone else's dharma. And this is what so many of us do. I can pick up my phone in front of me right now, and go on Instagram, and I can start looking at other people's stories. And there are some really inspirational people that you can follow. That's why I put stuff out there, because I want to put stuff out that inspires people. But it could be so easy to look at people that you think are more and have more and compare yourself to them, rather than, and it's just crazy. You just literally, I'm just clicking on my phone right now in the background. I can see all of these people who I'm following. I try not to follow too many people on Instagram, because how many people can you follow? There's only one person to follow. I'm following 75 people, and I've got 3,735 followers. How can I follow 75 people? The only person I can follow is myself. So let's get to the heart of a few things. Hopefully you're inspired right now and you're ready, because I will continue to be here. I will continue to show up and put this content out here every single week. And this is the exercise I want you to spend some time thinking about. The 3 areas in your life that you're probably wanting to create a movie in. Let's think about episode 1, the new era of your... Excuse me, there was Nelson Mandela. I have a fridge magnet that's on a light here, and I just knocked him on the floor. Nelson Mandela, was he a hero? I mean, this is, true. And you think about him when he came out of prison, you could imagine someone coming out and being very bitter and angry, but he realized there was a much bigger part to play. And that's what I think we all need to realize, that there's something more important than your problems right now. There's something more important than your past. May your past turn to wisdom. But there's something more important. There's something ahead of you. And Napoleon Hill talks about this in Think and Grow Rich, that 2% of people have a burning desire of something they must create. And my goal has always been to help more and more people do that. One of my clients is a UFC fighter, and she's fighting in August. And we were talking yesterday about identifying with the person that you want to become, seeing that person, that bigger, stronger, healthier, more powerful human being. Quentin Tarantino was asked recently about his new film, and he's happy with it because he's produced something that he imagined. And then he got all the actors to play the part in that role, in that film. This is what we have to do. It's not about getting it perfect, and it's about rehearsing, because you are going to be in rehearsal. So take some time out. I dare you, take some time out. We've actually put a Facebook group together. It's a private Facebook group, but there's over 5,000 people in it. It's just the Pete Cohen podcast. Come into that Facebook community if you're on Facebook, and tell us, show some images of perhaps what you've been drawing and writing it down, because this is the storyboard. Think about the person that you want to become. Identify with a person who is healthier than you. It's you in the future. It's you in 365 days, if improving your health is important to you, which obviously it should be, but that's ultimately up to you. The person that you want to be in your relationships with your friends, your family, your intimate relationships. Identify with the person that you're becoming, and the same with your work, your wealth. Who is this person that you want to act towards to become? It's who are you committed to becoming? Why? And obviously breaking that down is, well, what could you do about that today? Gabrielle Oettingen, who's one of the most well-known people in the world of positive psychology, and her very well known for something called Whoop, which I've spoken about on podcasts before, but it's like, what's the wish? What is the wish for you in these 3 different areas? What's the wish with your health and your energy? What's the outcome? So in 365 days, the act that you would have been playing, if you did it for 365 days, what would that look like? What would that give you? What would that get you? To be able to see that with some sort of clarity, really, really important. Why would you want to play this role? And to think, okay, I'm going to have a go at being that person today. And you're going to get it wrong, and you're going to make mistakes. But if you do what Tarantino says, Have a notebook with you. Make observations and always think, hey, there's something to learn here. Because with each mistake, it's just a retake. It's a mistake. You just take again, you go again, and you look to get better. It's a refining process. Most actors are better. If you look at their first film, you think, wow, look how far you've come. If you look at their films now, like Leonardo DiCaprio, you see how far he's come. That's a result of a lot of work, a lot of dedication. So what's the wish? What's the outcome? Be specific with the outcome. Really start thinking, this is exactly, I want to be able to run a marathon or run a Spartan race or whatever it is for you. What are the obstacles? This is really, really important to think, what's the obstacles I've faced in the past? Many people, the obstacle they faced is maybe they lost enthusiasm, or they hit a plateau, or they got unwell, or just something happened. They lost their job. What's the plan to overcome the obstacle? This is where we start to identify with our heroes. Our heroes are the ones who have overcome the obstacle, whether it's someone like Nelson Mandela, all the actors that we watch in films. It's not what they did, it's what they overcome. And often people don't see that. That's what happens when no one's looking. No one looks at what I do at 4 o'clock in the morning when I normally wake up. And I'm going to work on learning and creating and finding out the best information to help people be an epic actor in their life. Why do I do that? It's a part of my movie. I'm so committed to it. I haven't always been like that. Maybe I was a bit like you, driven to move away from where I was, or just not particularly motivated to do anything. It's just get going. It's to get going. So Whoop the person that you want to be with your health and your energy. Whoop the person that you want to be in your relationships. Identify with that character. Whoop the person you want to be with your work and your service. And don't expect it to be easy. As Jim Rohn said, don't wish you were better. Don't wish things were better. Wish you were better. Go to work on yourself. What else can I say? Apart from I love you, whoever you are, wherever you are in the world, I love you for being here and listening to this, because your life does matter. You do make a difference. And you know what? I believe in you. What's your biggest takeaway? With the director, sit down with your director. Now, when you sit down with your director and think about this, you have a director in you. It's the genius, right? That's what the Greeks and the Romans, they believed everyone had a genius inside them. That's the one that's got you to listen to this all the way through. Now, the duck could talk in your head and say, yeah, I'll do it later. That negative voice, oh, no, you're not worth it. You're not good enough, blah, 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 blah. That's always going to be there. Overcoming that might be one of the biggest challenges that you face. Look, we will work together. I will continue to put these podcasts out for you. If you've enjoyed it, share it, whether you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, however you're choosing to, or on our website, petecohen.com/podcasts. However you're choosing to listen to it, feel free to like, comment, share, get it out there. Let's have loads more actors. There's actually something I've been watching where it's a round table. So it's a round table of directors. It's on YouTube. It's the Hollywood Reporter, I think, the round table of actors. And you see these great actors all sitting around a table. And that's one of the things we're going to look at next week, is having a mastermind alliance. Having a group of your supporting cast is really important. And lastly, I want to say to you is this. Look, this whole thing around acting, actors need to learn. They need to learn a whole load of stuff, from voice projection to different types of characters, probably loads. I've never studied acting. But I've studied personal development for the last, 30 years. And I know that if you want to be a great actor in your life, there's certain things that you need. You need to learn about taking the lead. You need to learn about mindfulness, having a strong mind. You need to learn about the creation of habits and the breaking of habits. You need to learn about confidence. And that is all stuff. If you want to go into this a little bit deeper, that's what we provide for people just like you. And I'm serious when I say this. You can get on a call with me or one of our team, and a free call, and we can just help you look at your life and help you work out a strategy. We really can do that because we are so committed, like you wouldn't believe. If you want to find out about that, literally go to petecohen.com/coaching. Watch the 30-minute video there on discovering the 3 secrets for creating the life that you want today, for you to become the leader in your own life, the leading actor, the Oscar winning performance by you. Go and check it out, and then you have the opportunity to book in a call, and we can help you. I appreciate you so much for being here today. You're absolutely awesome. You are amazing. I believe in you, and I look forward to continuing to be a part of your epic adventure. Take care. Much love. Thanks for listening to the podcast. If you want to find out what life coaching can do for you with me, Pete Cohen, then simply visit petecohen.com/coaching and book a free strategy call, and we can help you find out exactly what it is that you want and help you put a plan in place to create the future that you want today.